Hey everyone, today I'm talking with Jeff Kraft, the head brewer at Titletown Brewing Company in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Jeff shares his journey from athletic trainer to the brewmaster. He talks about their award-winning lagers and cocktail-inspired sours, and why this place is the ultimate gathering spot for Packers fans or just the local community in general. Don't have to be a Packers fan. Anyway, let's get to it. Hey Jeff, how you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for taking the time to meet with me today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Appreciate it. Yeah, so just to fill you in a little bit more about what we're doing here.
Hmm.
Um, so we created a website called Midwest Microbrew, and we
Yeah,
just got a whole bunch of breweries listed on there right now, just around the Midwest, something for people to find. And we figured, what better way to, put the breweries out there than get an interview with the people working there. So,
yeah, absolutely. Oh,
um,
very cool.
yeah, so I can just jump right into it real quick. If you want to tell me a little bit about yourself and just what you do there.
Yeah, so I'm the head brewer at Titletown. This is my fourth year here now. Um, so I started out as an athletic trainer.
Oh,
That's what
really?
I went to school for. Yeah.
Me too, actually.
Uh, no way.
Yeah, yeah.
That's all. You still working as one?
No, no, no. I started to go to school as one. I didn't actually end up going into that field, but that's what I was
Okay,
went to school
gotcha.
at first.
Very cool.
Hmm.
I've met one other person in the brewing industry that was an athletic trainer before, so
Huh.
yeah. Not
That's
many of us. But yeah, so I was doing that for a while and I was homebrewing at the time. So I, fell in love with it and uh, after doing it for a while, enrolled myself in the American Brewers Guild and went through that whole program. And then I ended that with internship over at Hinterland in Green Bay. And that turned into a full-time gig. And then position opened up here at Titletown and moved on over here and here I've been since.
nice. Nice.
Yeah.
Well, that's good to hear. Fancy meeting another athletic
I know
training
that's wild.
student. Um,
Pretty wild.
so tell me a little bit about the origin story about Titletown Brewing. What inspired you to start brewing here specifically?
Yeah, so Titletown's been around for it'll be 30 years next year. So I obviously haven't been here that whole time. But it started out we're across the street from where we started out. We used to be an old train depot over there, and from what I've been told, the city was planning on turning that into this whole block actually into a Walmart.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, Brent Weicker, he's the guy that started Titletown. He's still one of the partial owners today. He yeah worked it out where they were able to get the building from the city and start a brewery there. So that was 30 years ago. Um, and then in 2014, they moved to across the street. So they had the train depot that they were in, and then they moved the whole production facility across the street. Got a much bigger brewery. From what I've been told, it was a pretty tight spaces in there, and they were
Hmm.
at full capacity for quite some time. So expanded over here. Got a rooftop bar over here, some event space, and then it was actually during COVID they actually closed the restaurant portion of Titletown. So across the street now is a separate restaurant that's not affiliated with us anymore. So now we're just in this building. We've got a tap room, sky lounge upstairs. Still doing food, not the full service menu that we had at the train depot, but yeah. So that's kind of where we are today. I had been here. I grew up in the Green Bay area, moved away for a while and came back. And I just remember coming back. This is one of the places we would always go to with my family. Loved to be here always, and
Mhm.
opportunity presented itself. And yeah, like, let's do it.
Yeah, yeah. Green Bay is a nice place for that.
Yeah.
Um, how would you describe your brewery in one sentence to someone who's never been there before?
One sentence.
Yeah, or two,
Yeah. I think the biggest thing that we always like to talk about heart of downtown Green Bay and the best view in town. Like you won't find a better view in all of Green Bay from our Sky Lounge and great beer on top of
Of
it.
course.
Yeah.
Got to mention that.
Yeah, yeah.
So You said that you Titletown had to move to a bigger location and stuff, so you must have a decent amount of people coming in. Um, do you have
Yeah.
any regulars? What kind of people are they, and what draws them there?
Yeah, definitely. We've had people that have been here, coming since the brewery opened, almost 30 years ago. So we see those people all the time. We also get a lot of football team or football fans coming
Oh, I
from out
bet,
of
yeah.
state whenever the Packers have a home game. We've got the Donald Driver statue out front, called Titletown. So you'll get a lot of people coming in on like Green Bay people and just out of town people coming in for home Packer games, which is always cool to see. It's funny, we get a real busy because we're not like right by the stadium, right? We're
Mhm.
downtown, so we get real busy before then during the game. Everyone's down at Lambeau, and then afterwards it builds up again. We have a farmers market every Wednesday on Broadway, which is the street that we're on. So we get a lot of probably like a little younger crowd that comes in for that one.
Yeah.
We also have pinball machines, so we get a little bit of a pinball crowd every week. We have that, and then a big tournament. I think it's like every month or something.
Oh, wow. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah, quite
Yeah,
a mix of people for sure.
yeah. I always wondered what it'd be like having a brewery in Green Bay, just because I mean it's not that big of a city, but I mean they've got a dedicated dedicated football team right there, and I mean people love
Yeah,
it. So
yeah. I
imagine that
mean the name.
draws some huge crowds.
It's where the inspiration for the name came from, right?
Of course.
Yeah, yeah.
So how family friendly is your space? And do you make accommodations for different age groups, or is it more just 21 and up?
No, it's pretty family friendly. I'm a new dad. I've got a almost a 9-month old now, and
Oh, nice.
we bring her
Congratulations.
here. Yeah, thank you. We'll bring her here too. We see kids run around. It's a big space, right? We have two tap rooms, one on the ground floor, and then the Sky Lounge upstairs. So lots of space. We've got some games that kids can play. So yeah, big tables, couches, all that stuff. We like weekends for sure. We'll see a good amount of families coming out here.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
You mentioned the pinball and all that. Do you guys have like
Hmm.
regular events with that kind of stuff, or events that bring the community over to you guys?
Yeah, we definitely do lots of events. Besides just pinball. Pinball, they do, I think it's every other week is the pinball league, and then there's like a big tournament every month or every couple of months or something like that. So there's like prizes, cash prizes awarded to the winners of that. So um, yeah, that's a regular thing that we're doing. Um, let's see, what else do we have? We got like our summer bash we do every summer where we get some bands out here and some fun events going on for the day. Our Oktoberfest is coming up on September 27th, not this weekend, 2 weeks from now.
Yeah.
Um, you know, Farmers Market is every Wednesday in the summertime, so we'll get some live music for that. We do flight nights for beer, and then our GM has also been putting together different types of cocktail flights, like mule flights, margarita flights. We do a bourbon night, I think once a month that goes on, and some other random events too. We did some speed dating for the first time
Oh
a
yeah.
few months ago. I think we're going to be bringing that back. That was a lot of fun. Um, yeah, what else? There's other events, but yeah, we try to keep it pretty busy every week.
Yeah.
Make sure we got a lot going on.
Well, that's good to hear. Was that speed dating a big hit if that was the first time doing that?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like crazy first time doing it. It takes time to build events up, but it
Yeah.
was pretty solid for the first one. So you get one under your belt and then you kind of learn from it and go from there and make adjustments. So that's something I'm definitely hoping to grow
Cool.
as well. Yeah.
Nice. So kind of following the events category here, do you guys
Hmm.
have a policy on like large groups or private events, if someone was trying to have a special occasion at Titletown?
Yeah, so that's probably a big portion of our business is those private events or semi-private events. So if it's like a private event, there's usually some type of room fee associated with it. There may be a minimum drink spend. I'm not super keen on all those details, a little outside of
Yeah.
my scope, but I know we do private events, and then we'll have semi-private events where people can kind of like rope off a little area, so they don't have to pay for a room fee, and obviously the public is still welcome in, but still enough space to um, do whatever they need to do there. And like I said, we have two big tap rooms, so it's something that we focus on a lot is trying to drive as many events as possible to fill up that space. Because two tap rooms can be a lot to fill up with just general public.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, so on to the brewing question since you're the brewmaster. Throw some.
Yeah.
So what's your for lack of a better word, like your brewing philosophy? Like what drives your beer making decisions?
Yeah. So, I think at the heart of it, uh, I'm always trying to look for kind of like the newer stuff. Especially when it comes like hot products and stuff. I love experimenting with all the new hot products that are coming out. But I'm also, I'm obsessed over like those tiny little details, especially when it comes to the lager side of brewing. And all beers too, but like lagers especially are beers where there's 1,000 little details and
Yep.
they all add up to make a great beer, right? So I'm more of the philosophy of we're gonna take our time and do the slow process through this, try not to take any shortcuts, and just always looking for improvement. Even if we have a beer that is selling great, won awards, whatever, like there's always little things you can be tweaking to try to keep improving on the beer. So that's something that I like to focus on a lot. And when it comes to designing beers, recipes only going to take you so far, right? It's
Right.
that process that drives a lot of the flavor and the final outcome of that beer. So really, really honing in on those just small little details throughout the
Yeah.
process. Yeah,
Secret ingredient is love, right?
that's right. Yeah, like
Um,
we have a brewing system that was not designed for like decoction mashing, right?
mhm.
But it was something for a lager that we did a while back. It's like it's a long day to do it, but
Mm.
yeah,
Yeah.
if we think it makes a difference, we'll put in the time for it.
Yeah, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
So a little bit more about your beer. Just walk me through your core lineup. Like what kind of styles do you always have available and why are those the heavy hitters?
Yeah, so some of them have been around since the beginning. So our 400 honey blonde ale, that's the oldest recipe we have. I think that was there when they first opened the brewery, if I'm correct. Um, so it's a blonde ale made with some local Wisconsin honey that we'll add into it at the end to
Hmm.
kind of sweeten it up, give it a little more flavor. Uh, Johnny Blood Red. It's our Irish style red ale. That's another one that's been around for a long time. I believe that was a GABF medal winner back in the day as
Wow.
well. Um, so yeah, that one's still probably our number two selling beer overall.
Hmm.
Green 19 is our biggest selling beer. That's our West Coast style IPA. That was started back sometime in like the mid to 2010s, I believe, is when that one started. That's our biggest seller, West Coast IPA. And then Boathouse is our Czech style Pilsner. That one's been around for a while. Also a GABF winner. We don't make as much of that one. That's more in-house. And then Tundra Tropics, that's one of our newer ones. It's a hazy IPA. Um, that one we started about 4 years ago with that one.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, those are kind of the five cores that we always have on tap. And then outside of that, we kind of try to keep it moving as much as possible.
Yeah. Sounds like you got
Yeah.
some good one. That honey one sounds really interesting to me.
Yeah, no, it's a good spread. We got light, dark, Pilsner, and then a couple of different IPAs. But yeah, if you like honey, it's a really light beer. Got a little bit of sweetness to it, real easy drinking. We always tell people, you get like craft or non-craft beer drinkers coming in and asking for, what's the closest thing to a Bud Light or something like that.
Yeah.
And not that honey tastes that much like Bud Light, but it's so easy on the palate and so easy drinking. That's the one that people usually go towards.
Yeah, it's a good one to gravitate to.
Yeah.
So tell me about that the GABF awards. Is that
Hmm.
is that Brewfest? Is that what is
Yeah,
that
the
for?
Great American Beer Festival.
Yep. Mhm.
So those were, I don't remember the year. That was before my time when they entered those in. But yeah, the Boathouse, I think that one was a silver, and then Johnny Blood Red was a bronze, I believe.
Nice.
Um, yeah,
Oh, that's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah. No, Boathouse is one of my favorite beers. I love that one.
Gotcha. What's the most unique or experimental beer that you've created? And then what inspired that?
Hmm. Well, let's see. I think the most I feel like we could go two ways. So like experimental, I think the most experimenting we've done kind of like process wise and brew house wise. We did a Mexican style light lager with blue corn that we got that was grown locally. The corn wasn't malted or anything, so we had to take that into the brew house and kind of devise a way to uh, get that through the mash and actually get conversion on it. So from a brewing standpoint, we had to reverse engineer basically like a decoction mash to get that one through the brew house. It smelled like tortilla chips during the mash. It was awesome. That
Wow.
one's called Gridiron Glory. Um, so yeah, that one from experimental side, you know we weren't quite sure how it was all going to go through. It was our first time doing something like that, reverse engineering it, and it turned out really great.
Wow.
As far as unique ones go, I think we may be the only ones in town that are doing barrel aged sours.
Hmm.
Um, so we've been taking inspiration from cocktails for those. So the first one we did kind of had like a whiskey sour in mind. We took a passion fruit peach sour that we had made and then threw that in some J. Henry bourbon barrels. Let that sit for about 6 months. And yeah, bourbon comes through great and it's got that tartness to it. So the the cocktail definitely came through pretty nicely on that. The newest one that we've got that we just took out of barrels last week, so we'll be getting on tap shortly. Same kind of concept. This one we were going more for like a tequila sunrise. So
Hmm.
we had a tangerine, pineapple, vanilla sour that we had out and threw that one in some tequila barrels. So yeah, that one. If you like tequila, it came through really nicely on that one.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever had one with tequila. That's interesting. I'm a tequila fan, so I'd
Yeah, yeah,
love to
no,
try
it's
that
it's
sometime.
it's good. No, and like I used to live out in Oregon. One of my favorite breweries out there, Song. All they do is barrel aged beers and tons of sours, stouts, all that stuff. But a lot of their inspiration came from cocktails, and I think that's a great place to look to get some unique, fun
Yeah.
flavors in beer. So that's kind of where all that came from.
Ah, that's interesting. Hearing the inspiration
Yeah,
behind that.
yeah.
Nice. Do you have any, I mean, Oktoberfest is coming up, right? Do you have any like seasonal or limited releases for just any of the seasons really, but
Yeah,
especially
so
now?
our Oktoberfest bent tuba, that one's already out on store shelves. That's definitely by far and away our biggest seasonal that we do. It's one of our most popular beers. Some stuff we got coming out. We have an Australian Pilsner or hoppy lager, I guess. That one just came out. So that one was all Australian malt, Australian hops. Brewed it up like a Pilsner, and then dry hopped it with the Australian hops as well. So just a little bit more like a fruity kind of Pilsner.
Hmm.
Um, got a fresh hop beer in the tanks right now that I'm super excited about. All Wisconsin grown. Went and picked up the fresh hops from a farm in Rosholt, Wisconsin, about an hour and a half away. So we got fresh Vista. We threw that in the whirlpool and then we got Wisconsin grown Vista pellets and Wisconsin grown Vista or Wisconsin grown cashmere pellets for the dry hop on that one off through the
Nice.
Wisconsin Hop Exchange. So we just got done with the dry hop additions last week. So it's got a couple weeks of sitting cold and then we'll get that one packaged out. That'll get out on store shelves too. Really cool can design on that one too. So that one's tasting really good right now. It's like can of pineapple juice right now.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm a
So
big fan of that stuff.
yeah, we'll see. Still a couple more weeks to go. We'll see how it finishes, but tasting good right now. And then we got a coffee dark lager. We did that one last year called Hallowed Grounds. Doing that one again. That one was pretty popular last year. We worked with Coffee Wizards, which is a local coffee roaster here in Green Bay. Makes awesome coffee. We get their beans and throw that into the dark lager. Get that all packaged up. Probably second week of October. I think that one should be ready. And then we got a hoppy red lager that's gonna get made in about a month. And then I think we're finishing the year on a kind of Radler style beer. One of our brewers here, she's the president of the Wisconsin Pink Boots chapter, and this should be her last year as president. So doing something to commemorate that. So we're going for like a prickly pear mule as our
Oh,
inspiration
really?
for that. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
So we're partnering up with Deadbird Brewing in Milwaukee. They're going to make the soda, ginger lime soda, and then we'll blend that with our. I think we're going to do a blonde ale with that, and then add some hibiscus to make it pink, and some prickly pear.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Prickly pear's
should
got
be
a good
fun.
flavor. That's
Yeah, no, prickly pear is a great flavor. So excited to see how that one turns out. But that's what's coming for the rest of the year. Maybe we'll get another. We might be doing a big pastry stout too. We're still working out the details of that one. So
interesting. Nice.
yeah.
Um, so for someone new to craft beer, what would you recommend as like an introduction? I know that you said the honey one would be
Hmm.
good as like introduction, kind of people gravitate towards that, but is there anything else that's a good introductory beer?
Yeah, I mean, Gridiron Glory, our Mexican lager, to me, that's if you like light beers, that's definitely the one that tastes the most like a light beer. Um, if you like something on a little bit more sweeter side, then honey would be the way to go for that. Um, Personally, I think we've we've got some hazies that the bitterness is low. I think the biggest thing coming into craft beer is that bitterness sometimes can be a bit much if you're not used to it.
Mhm.
So jumping on a West Coast style IPA, probably not the best bet, but um, Tundra Tropics, we've been dialing that bitterness down pretty low on that one. We just had a New Zealand hazy come out that's got like no bitterness. It's just like drinking juice.
Yeah.
So those are always good ones to start in on craft beer.
Oh, yeah. The juice flavored
Yeah.
beer. It's good stuff.
Right?
So kind of moving to some behind the scenes type of questions.
Mhm.
What's something about your brewery that most visitors should know but probably don't?
So I guess a couple of things. We have in our basement, we have a beer blur. So if you take a tour, you get to go down to the basement and drink from the beer blur,
Oh,
which
really?
is always fun. Yeah. Um, we got a Lucre faucet on just recently to pour our boathouse, our Czech style Pilsner. So I don't know if you're familiar with that, but that it's what they pour beer in the Czech Republic out of, and it gives you a lot of control over the foam in the beer. And then
Really?
also you pour the beer under the foam, which is kind of the opposite of how most tap handles are here, where um, when you're pouring, you're going into the foam and down into the glass.
Yeah.
So with this one, you like create a bunch of foam on top, and then you put the beer underneath it. It just helps kind of
It's
keep it away from the
innovative.
oxygen and all that. And it creates the creamiest, densest, tiny little bubbles. Like it completely changes the mouthfeel of the drink.
Huh.
It's awesome. I love it. Um, and we do it in a couple different pours too. So you can do it like kind of the normal pour, which is about a couple fingers of foam on top, and then
Mhm.
beer, do half foam, half beer. And then there's something called the Milko pour, which is just a small glass full of foam. Um,
Mhm.
so some people like that stuff. It's
Yeah.
kind of a fun thing to take a shot of.
Yeah. You think more people would
Um,
have something like that? That's pretty cool.
yeah, yeah. So that's uh that's some fun stuff that we have that I don't think everyone knows about. Behind the scenes, uh, you know, I think the biggest thing is just all the machines and technology that goes into it. You know, like getting that beer into cans is a whole process, and kegs is a whole
Yeah.
process. So the machine work that goes on, it's probably the thing most people don't understand at a brewery, I would say.
Yeah, it's probably more complex than most people think.
Yeah.
Could you tell me a little bit about your brewing equipment? Like any interesting stories that you have about your setup or anything like that?
Yeah, so we have a 30 barrel brew house. I think the couple cool things on our brew house, we have an external calandria on the kettle so we can boil beer or boil wort pretty quickly on that, which is
Hmm.
nice. We've also got a heat exchanger in between the kettle and the whirlpool. So that's really nice when we're doing hoppy beers. When we're adding whirlpool hops into the beer, it allows us to keep the bitterness down. The lower the temperature, the less bitterness you're going to extract out of those hops. And then it also keeps more of the volatile aromas in solution. Whereas if it's, 90, not everything is in Celsius here. 99 C, you're volatilizing a lot of those delicate aromas. You're going to still be creating bitterness. Um, so that's a cool little feature of the brew house. Kind of semi-automated, which is nice. Um, and the rest is pretty standard. I think the other cool thing we have is a hop cannon for dry hopping beers, which really helps keep oxygen levels at nothing when we're dry hopping. We don't have to open up the top of the tank. We have this little tank that we can purge, fill up with our hops, purge some more, and then shoot them right up into the top of the tank. So that's a nice little piece of equipment we got. Um, yeah, and then we got a filter for filtering beers. Um, 90 barrel tanks, mostly a couple 60s and 115. So we try to keep everything that's going in-house as much as we can in that 15 barrel fermenter just to keep things fresh and rotating as much as possible.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And our kegger is like this crazy German machine that uh I mean there's no oxygen that goes in these kegs. It's pretty amazing. Like we do sensory once a week. Uh, and one of the things we're always looking at is the shelf life of our beer. We can, compare cans versus kegs, all that. And I'm blown away all the time when we'll pull out some beer that we've had back in storage for like over a year, hook it up and try it from the keg, and I was like, oh my God, I don't taste any oxidation. It's wild.
Yeah.
So yeah, pretty cool kegger.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then I think you might have mentioned this, but you guys do tours, right? Is that
Yep. Yeah, we do tours are by appointment for the most part.
gotcha.
So we have a couple of different people that will give tours, and it'll be a tour of the full facility, get to drink from the beer blur at the end of it, and then it includes a flight or a pint. I forget everything that goes along with it, but you get some beer along with the tour as well. I know that.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, then this is kind of circling back to some of our other questions from earlier, but how
Yeah.
would you describe the Green Bay craft beer scene and kind of what makes that so special? I know, of course, the Packers, but
Yeah. 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 It's honestly it's unique. I've lived out on the East Coast and I've lived out on the West Coast. Um, and you kind of go to the coast, you get a lot of hoppy stuff and a lot of like lighter kind of lagers.
mhm.
Uh, Coming back to the Midwest, there's still some of that old school stuff going on here. When it comes like West Coast IPAs, they have more like the caramel malt in them, more malty styles just in general. Like our Irish Red is one of our biggest selling beers. That's a style that was, popular a
Yeah,
long time ago, right? You don't see a lot of breweries making that stuff. Same thing with the blonde ale. It's this really interesting mix because then you definitely have, newer stuff coming into the area, more trendier stuff that comes in, but it still has kind of this more traditional backbone to it that I don't think you really see as much in other parts of this country.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you mentioned kind of like newer, trendier beers. What trends are you seeing in craft beer? And then how do you guys respond to that?
Yeah. I mean, obviously trying to do as much stuff to stay relevant as possible. I think, one of the biggest things that we see in drinkers in general is overall, from what I've been seeing, people aren't necessarily drinking less overall. They're drinking more variety of stuff, right? So, our big focus lately has been trying to expand what we're doing instead of just beer. We got THC products now that we're doing out on the market. We're working on getting some cider out there. Um, we're maybe we'll look into like some hop waters, seltzers. I don't know if those are going to come, but just trying to be as inclusive as possible. We've had a big focus on creating cocktails. We have a full bar. So our GM has done a great job of building that cocktail menu up. Like I mentioned earlier, running a bourbon night, just trying to hit as wide of an audience as possible. Because,
Yeah.
yeah, people are drinking a lot more different stuff these days,
Yeah.
and trying to just stay on top of all that. As far as what like seeing in the craft beer itself, um, you still hear talks of like lagers are coming, lagers are coming. I don't know if we're quite there here in Green Bay yet. I think I see more of that stuff like out on the coast. But trying to do some hybrid stuff. We did cold IPAs for a little bit, um, which were pretty good. We've been doing some more. We did like a West Coast um, Pilsner. Yeah, I got this Australian one. So trying to blend like the hops with the lagers, um, getting like more crossover going
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
styles. And as far as like obviously hazy stuff is still king. So using all the new products that are coming out, experimenting with that stuff, just getting them as juicy as possible. Yeah, that's kind of what we're seeing and where we're focusing on.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Hmm.
All right. So, kind of to wrap things up here, I got a few closing questions for you.
Yeah.
If someone could only try three things at your brewery, what would you recommend for those?
Ooh, three things.
Yeah.
Hmm, 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 hmm. So I think you gotta try Green 19 because that's our biggest beer. I think that's a good one to try.
Of course.
Um, right now, Bentuba, our Oktoberfest, I'd recommend trying that one. That one's been around for a while, and like I said before, that's our biggest seasonal beer that we do during the year. I think that's a really solid example of that style. Um, and then, I think if you're looking for something more unique, barrel aged sours are fun. Else, any of the new hazies we have coming on, I think are always good to try.
Can't go wrong.
Yeah.
And then, what's the best way for people to stay connected with what you guys are doing?
So we have social media, Instagram, Facebook, um, obviously on our website. We do have can sign up for a newsletter that goes out, I think monthly, um, and connecting through Toast. We actually just switched over to that for our POS. I think if you sign up, you can get some text and email updates with things that are going on in the brewery as well.
Okay, good. Yeah, I'll include that. So I'll be turning this into kind of like a article as well, which I'll share with you. So I'll make sure to include all your socials and everything and
Yeah, yeah,
get that out there too. Um,
awesome.
do you have any final thoughts or messages for people who might be considering a visit?
Um, yeah, I mean, uh, I think biggest thing, we're the best view in Green Bay up on the Sky Lounge. Great spot downtown. You can walk around right on the water. Um, Great selection of beer. You know,
Mhm.
come on down, check it out. If you're into pinball, we got pinball too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and like I said, branching out into some other things. Obviously, the THC market is a growing market. So, anyone that's looking for that kind of stuff, we've just recently got it on tap as well as cans to go. So, you can actually sit down and enjoy a glass of it in the brewery.
Nice. Well, that's good to
Yeah,
hear.
yeah, yeah,
All right. Well, thank you, Jeff, for taking the time to meet with me. It's been very insightful.
yeah,
I'll keep
absolutely.
you updated and I'll post this and send it your way.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep. All right. You have a good
All
one.
right. Yeah, you too. Talk to you later. Bye.
Alrighty, guys, that's going to do it for today. Be sure to check out some of our other exclusive interviews with the people from the best breweries in the Midwest. Bye now.